Mirko Cro Cop, who is the head of an anti-terrorist squadron in Croatia, and he's a real murderer. You're talking about a different kind of fucking straight-up killer and an elite high-level kickboxer.
Some blood. Oh, high kick and down goes Igor. This man is taking over.
Yeah, he's one of the hardest kickers ever.
And they had different rules for him.
Yeah.
People in the UFC never really they didn't see this guy.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, he was in Pride.
Does it bother you that it ended this way, that, you know, all this stuff happened at the end and you couldn't go out on your own terms?
They gave me 2 years for nothing. You know why? Because I was the first one.
From a small, quiet village in Croatia to the brutal rings of Pride and the bright lights of the UFC, Mirko Cro Cop Filipović's journey was far from ordinary. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a soldier, a commando, and a man who fought with a purpose. Known for his deadly left high kick and calm, cold stare, Cro Cop became one of MMA's most feared fighters. But behind all those highlight reel knockouts was a man shaped by war, pain, and controversy. If you love hearing the real stories behind the fighters, the wins, the battles, the struggles, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let's now step into the world of Mirko Cro Cop. Born on September 10th, 1974 in Pobjenik, just south of Vinkovci in eastern Croatia, Mirko Filipović grew up in a working-class family.
Laka is a small village with 4,000 people near Vinkovci. I lived here until 1994.
As a kid, he showed he was athletic early on, especially in sprinting, but it was action movies that really lit the spark for combat sports. After watching Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport, young Mirko started copying the moves in his parents' garage using homemade training tools.
Just at that time came the Bloodsport with Van Damme. When I saw Van Damme, his looks, his moves, I said, to hell with athletics. I became completely crazy about that sport. That was the last athletics training for me. I poured concrete, waited for it to harden, put it in a bar and waited a day. The next day
he even had a punching bag filled with sand.
The punching bag was awning with sawdust inside leaking out. I used to punch that bag for a few days. I would rip through it with punches. I took a chalk and drew a man on the wall. Then I would kick it for 2 to 3 hours. My father used to tell me 100 times at 11 at night to go to bed, to quit it. But I would still go.
He started learning Taekwondo at age 7 and later picked up Karate too. That's where the base of his striking skills was built.
17 years old in 1991, I remember us coming here as kids. When the tanks were rolling out, they were taking it out on the houses. Every house got 2 shells. They reported from the Vinkovci High School that the classes are organizing to start. Some were going to Zagreb. I got Varazdin. That's when Igor Varga took me in. I spent 6 months at his place. The first thing I asked was, is there a kickboxing club here? They had a boxing club and a karate club. I first went to the karate club right after school. I had to see where it is and what I can do. I didn't like it. That didn't interest me. Then I saw a group of 5 to 6 in gloves and pads fighting. I asked the coach, can I go with them? He said, I don't care. Soon as the school was finished, I ran to the gym and stayed until 9 p.m. I would warm up, do push-ups, hit the bag and do the practice.
In 1994, Mirko lost his father. Around that same time, he joined the Croatian army during the country's rough post-independence period.
My father passed away. From what money we had left, we made our father a tomb memorial. Then we were left with no money. I remember it as it was today, giving a request for a police academy. I wanted to go to Zagreb to train, to get a chance to fight. That was my ultimate dream, K1 and stuff. And I submitted the request for the academy. I go through the entry exams, but I was under the entry line. Mum crying, my heart wanted to break. But then I was playing cards with some guys at a friend's house. Drago comes in. He was looking all over for me. He goes, right now in the car, it's urgent. I came home. Mum was holding a paper. A telegram came in from the police academy that I was admitted. Some link worked. I tried from several sides for people to push me in. To this day, I don't know who enrolled me in. Whoever it was, I am thankful.
While serving as a radio telegraphist, Mirko didn't let go of his dream to fight. He wrote a letter to his commanding officer asking for permission to train with the national kickboxing team. It was a bold request, and he got a yes. That moment gave him the confidence to chase his fighting dream even while serving his country.
The manager, Zvonimir Lucic, discovered me. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be sitting here today. When I was in the college, I was making money as a bouncer. Then when he saw my talent and my will, he enabled me not to have to work. He gave me money every month, paid for my apartment. So I was without.
Soon after, he joined Croatia's elite police special forces, Lučko anti-terrorist unit as a commando. That's how he got the nickname Cro Cop, short for Croatian cop. For 6 years, he balanced his life as a special forces officer and a rising fighter.
My childhood dream to be in the special forces and the best fighter in the world. I was lucky enough in life to see both of my dreams come. You know what's the definition of pain? It's when you're focusing on punching the pad with bare fists. I have to bandage it. My finger joints are all bloody after it. The price of my success is very big, but a lot of people don't.
In 1996, Mirko started professional kickboxing and made an impact right away. In his first fight, he beat top French fighter Jérôme Lebana, announcing himself as a dangerous new name. Fighting under the name Mirko Cro Cop, he quickly became known for his powerful and explosive kicks, especially his lightning-fast left high kick. Right leg hospital, left leg cemetery, he once said.
Body kicks. Left leg on toes and then body rotation. Body rotation gives power to the punch. The standing leg has to rotate. This kick detaches your head.
That brutal left kick, combined with a stiff left punch, let him knock out fighters even when they knew it was coming. He used speed, timing, and solid takedown defense to stay on his feet and keep the fight in his comfort zone. He fought the best in K1 and was a Grand Prix finalist in both 1999 and 2000. He even went up against legends like Ernesto Hoost and Remy Bonjasky. With a 21-7 record in kickboxing, Cro Cop was already seen as one of the best heavyweights by the early 2000s. Still, he felt stuck. K1 wasn't offering what he wanted financially, so in 2001, he looked to MMA. Around the same time, he also became a 3-time Croatian national boxing champ and fought in the 1997 Amateur World Boxing Championships. That mix of boxing, karate, and taekwondo made him a terrifying striker. In 2001, Cro Cop made the jump to MMA. Pride FC in Japan was the top organization at the time, and his debut got fans pumped. He didn't have much grappling experience, but his striking reputation was so huge that Pride put him in big fights from the start. To protect him while he learned the ropes, Pride made special rules just for him, rules that played to his strengths and kept him out of danger on the ground. In his debut against Kazuyuki Fujita, they used rules that stopped ground strikes and limited how long fighters could stay on the mat. That completely removed Fujita's wrestling advantage, and Cro Cop won by TKO in just 39 seconds. He went on to face Nobuhiko Takada in a no-decision fight, and then Yuji Nagata on New Year's Eve 2001, winning that one in just 21 seconds. In April 2002, he faced Wanderlei Silva under more custom rules. 2 10-minute rounds and no judges. If there wasn't a finish, it would be a draw. These matches helped him grow in MMA, build his record, and stay undefeated early on. Pride's matchmaking gave him mostly strikers or weaker grapplers at first, keeping him away from dangerous submission experts. Even referees were accused of standing fighters up faster when Cro Cop was on the ground and rarely warning him for stalling. Pride had a lot riding on him. He was a fan favorite in Japan and a huge draw, especially with his military-style persona and serious attitude. In 2002, he beat Japanese legend Kazushi Sakuraba in front of 71,000 fans, still the biggest MMA crowd ever. In March 2003, Cro Cop faced Bob Sapp at the K1 Grand Prix in Saitama. Just over a minute in, he landed a sharp left punch that broke Sapp's eye socket. Sapp screamed in pain and backed off. The ref stopped the fight. It was one of the cleanest knockouts in Cro Cop's career and unforgettable to fans. Once he signed fully with Pride, Cro Cop went on a tear. By late 2003, in just his 7th MMA fight, he took on Heath Herring and destroyed him with a kick to the liver, followed by punches. The photo from that fight is haunting. His shin buried deep into Herring's side. Then he did the unthinkable. He knocked out Igor Vovchinchin, one of the most durable strikers ever, with a head kick. It was a passing of the torch. Cro Cop had arrived. Everyone knew the left kick was coming. No one could stop it. His head kick knockouts became legendary. Igor, Alexander Emelianenko, just boom, fight over. Watching Cro Cop in Pride was like watching a human weapon. By the end of 2003, he got a title shot for the interim belt against Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. He floored Nogueira early with punches and seemed on his way to victory. But then came the problem that always haunted him, his ground game. In round 2, Nogueira took him down and submitted him with an arm bar. Cro Cop had lost his first MMA defeat. It hurt, but he promised to come back better. Cro Cop bounced back after a few wins and entered the 2004 Pride Grand Prix, but suffered a shocking KO loss to Kevin Randleman. That defeat lit a fire in him. He responded with a 7-fight win streak, including revenge against Randleman and big wins over Josh Barnett and Mark Coleman. By 2005, he finally faced Fedor Emelianenko, one of the most anticipated fights ever. Cro Cop started strong, broke Fedor's nose, but Fedor took over on the ground and won by decision. Still, Cro Cop remained elite. In 2006, he entered Pride's Openweight Grand Prix. On his 32nd birthday, he knocked out Wanderlei Silva with a vicious left high kick, becoming the first man to knock him out cold. That same night, he beat Josh Barnett again and won the Grand Prix. Overcome with emotion, he broke down in tears. "This is the happiest day of my life, he told the crowd. If I didn't win, I was going to quit, now or never. Outside the cage, he served as a member of Croatian parliament from 2003 to 2007, politician by weekday, fighter on weekends. By late 2006, with Pride declining, the UFC signed him. In early 2007, Cro Cop debuted in the UFC with a dominant win over Eddie Sanchez. Expectations were sky high, but 2 months later, everything changed. Gabriel Gonzaga knocked him out cold with a head kick, the very move Cro Cop was known for. The fall twisted his knee badly. It was a devastating loss. Then, in September, he lost again to Jake Congo in a frustrating fight with multiple low blows. 2 losses in a row, Cro Cop left the UFC to regroup. Fans in the US never got to see the real Cro Cop, the one who had battled legends in Pride. In 2008, he returned to Japan to fight for Dream. He won his debut and said he felt better in a ring than a cage. It wasn't about running, it was about rediscovering himself. But injuries returned. In a 2008 fight against Alistair Overeem, repeated groin strikes caused a serious injury, ending the bout as a no contest. Momentum stalled. In 2009, he took a one-off UFC fight in Germany and won. But controversy followed when Dana White accused him of backing out of a verbal agreement. Cro Cop claimed it was a misunderstanding. UFC boss Lorenzo Fertitta even flew to Croatia to smooth things over. Later that year, Cro Cop signed a new UFC deal, but the prime version of Cro Cop was already fading. Cro Cop's UFC run began to fade after a brutal loss to Junior Dos Santos. He took so much damage he told the ref he couldn't see. Backstage, he admitted, "I don't feel the hunger. I'm playing it safe." He had a few wins against Anthony Perosh and Pat Barry, but age and injuries were catching up. In 2010, he stepped in last minute to face Frank Mir and was knocked out by a knee. He had a herniated disc but didn't pull out. Then came 2 more KO losses, Brendan Schaub and Roy Nelson. That made 3 in a row. Cro Cop and Dana White both agreed. It was time to step away. He retired saying, 20 years, a long career. Good, but not in the UFC. I'll never forgive myself for that, but he wasn't done. In 2012, back home in Zagreb, he returned to kickboxing and beat Ray Sifo. A year later, at nearly 39, he won the K1 Grand Prix, 3 fights in one night. He proved he still had it. He kept kickboxing through 2014 and had a few MMA fights too, including 2 wins over Olympic judoka Satoshi Ishii, won by his iconic head kick. In 2015, at 40, the UFC gave him one last run. First fight, a rematch with Gabriel Gonzaga, and Cro Cop got his revenge, hurting Gonzaga with elbows and finishing him with ground strikes. The crowd exploded. Redemption. But the comeback didn't last. He injured his shoulder and admitted to using HGH to heal. He reported it himself. Never failed a test. But USADA suspended him for 2 years anyway. He retired again. This sport is violent, he said, and most of the time the end is violent too. In 2016, after healing, he returned to fight in Japan's Rizin at age 42. Just like before, he shocked everyone. He won the Grand Prix, beating 3 fighters in one tournament and becoming only the second man to win Grand Prix titles in both MMA and kickboxing. In 2019, at 44, he fought Roy Nelson in Bellator, his 10th straight MMA win. But just weeks later, Cro Cop suffered a stroke. Doctors told him no more fighting. He retired for good. Final record, 38 wins, 11 losses, 2 draws, champion in Pride, Rizin, and K1. A true legend. Cro Cop once said, "This is life." And for him, it really was. He fought like a machine. Cold, focused, fierce. Today, he lives quietly in Zagreb, training privately, mentoring young fighters, and staying out of the spotlight. And every time a fighter throws a left high kick, his legacy continues.